think it's more than ever. I think fashion is viewed as being a very, very important thing. I think sometimes a lot of people can be judged on by what clothes people buy, and I think perhaps it can sometimes be very, very label orientated. But also, which I think is a very good thing, is nowadays people are very, very ethically aware of where their clothing might come from, or how it's been manufactured, or how it's been sourced, and I think that sort of information is really helpful for people to make decisions about buying clothes. My brother always refers to me as just like a clothes horse, where I just like, it doesn't matter what I seem to wear, it just hangs off me. So yes, there is always that element of worry or concern. You've seen it, like you said, on a mannequin, or worse still, in a catalogue, or online. You think, oh god, that looks really good, and then you try it on, and yes, I suppose it could be like a body image thing. You're a bit dissatisfied with it. I think this is a very, very dangerous area. One of the charity we work with works with adults who have either autism or Asperger's. We're also working with dietitians and nutritionists who are noticing that particularly young women with autism or Asperger's will also have an associated eating disorder. And I think that sort of imagery of whether you call it heroin chic or the waif look, I think can be horribly influential in it's a role model in a bad way, and I think it's down to the fashion world really to address that, but they never seem to want to take responsibility. I think it's very, very good that that people have that choice and then aren't necessarily influenced by someone being critical about that choice. We recently had a trip to Whitby for the Goth Festival, and a lot of the people that we work with found it hugely advantageous to not necessarily come out, but fully goth up, and feel marvellously safe in a very, very supportive and like-minded environment, because everyone else was dressed the same as well. Whereas in normal, inverted commas, society, they may not be able to do that, or they may feel that they could be either picked upon or ostracised or identified as, you're gothy weirdo. And I think it's a shame that sometimes there has to be almost that ghettoising of particular types of clothing, particular types of fashion, in order that people can express that. The phrase body fascism, I think sometimes that can be very, very hurtful, and sometimes it can be very, very narrow-minded, because you may not necessarily know all the aspects behind that person. Whether it's a lifestyle choice, whether it's a genetic condition, whether it's an hereditary condition, and it applies to people's height as well as people's weight. But I think people do like to feel as if they can categorise very, very easily. And I think we as a society get very distracted and almost displeased if we have someone that we can't categorise either by size or height or weight or style of dress, and it's just and then it's just they're almost just like labelled a weirdo because we don't know what to call them. Yeah. So I think it is that that aspect of it, just like being lazy, it's just an easy target. There's more and more psychology done now on, I suppose, in a way, I think if I remember my psychology, it's like body dysmorphia, where they feel that there's either an entire aspect or a partial aspect of their body that they're very, very unhappy with. And yes, there are various ways that we can change ourselves now. It's more readily available than ever. and whether that's through Botox being drilled into your forehead, or changing your teeth, or whichever. I think because that type of thing is more accessible, it's more open to people to do it. And I think that the great shame is usually those kinds of procedures are done with people who need it the least, but they think that they need it. It's almost like there should be some kind of preemptive or pre-support to say, all right, I'm going to have a facelift, just talk to someone about it beforehand, rather than look as if you've got a big bulldog clip at the back of your head. I could talk for about an hour on that, but I think yes, celebrity, culture, and whether that is in clothes or whether it's in look, in like hairstyle, it can be incredibly influential. And people will feel that great. I look like Monica from Friends, or I look like such and such from something else. And it almost seems at times the fashion world is having a laugh at us. There's an article in today's Guardian about one of the new fashion things, which is like a sleep suit for adults, but you wear it in the street. You just look like a big baby. You look like George Dawes, and it's that thing of, is it a convenient, very modern kind of dress, cutting edge, or do you just look like a big baby? And I think that those kinds of like fashion trends, like alarmist fashion trends, it's like, apparently, was it the most Googled person on the planet at the moment is Jason Bieber, and apparently it's his hairstyle as well, which is incredibly influential. Looks like a helmet. And I think it's how prepared you are to be influenced by that, by those kinds of things. In order, you almost feel as if you're not making choices for yourself; you're getting someone else to do it. Right, given the environment I work in and the client group we work with, it's very, very difficult, because sometimes that is what they try and aspire to. They've sometimes at schools or within education or employment, there's always this encouragement, you need to act normal, you need to do this, you need to do that, and which might be all well and good, but it's very, very difficult then to categorise that, to say, well, what is, like you said, what is normal? And I think that normality, or what people might perceive as normality, is almost getting narrower and narrower and smaller, until almost like it doesn't exist, because someone will always have a counter opinion which will be equally valid.